What's up, guys? So this video is a get to know me video, which I haven't done in about 2 months, so we're gonna get back into it. This is a this or that questions video, so I'm just gonna be I know there's a game like it, I can't think of the name of it, but I'm basically given 2 options and I have to sort of pick one or the other. This particular site that I've got, the link will be in the description below, has I think 75 questions. I'm going to do the first 25 just in case we want to have some more in the future, and you know, do maybe a part 2 and a part 3 on this site, as well as keeping this video as short as possible. So let's get into the questions. Alright, so the first one is dogs or cats, and historically dogs, but more recently becoming more and more accustomed to cats. They sort of share my philosophy in life of doing what they want and not dealing with others' stupidity. So I really feel like a cat sort of more embodies my home life. Dogs need exercise, and I don't know if I'm up for that every day. Netflix or YouTube? Well, I'm not uploading to Netflix. So with those, I'm gonna go with YouTube. If this was just purely a question on streaming services, Disney Plus lately has been the one I've been using, but out of those two, YouTube. Question 3. We are already diving into some debates here. Phone call or text message? Look, we can have a full conversation about this in another video or down in the comment section or whatever you like, but I prefer phone calls, simply because it helps add one of the 4 main parts of human communication into a conversation. Text message is just words, and you're able to imprint your own emotions onto those words, which quite easily results in misunderstood communications, especially if it's like for business things and you're stressed out of your brain, you send it to someone and they're not stressed out of their brain, or vice versa. Quickly becomes very like, oh, okay, I'm not going to work with this person, and it's, yeah, phone call. Number 4 is toast or eggs. Is both I don't think both is accepted in this, is it? I can't answer with option C, both, because I would have my eggs on toast. What happened to that? Assuming it's going along the lines of, would you prefer to have just eggs or just toast? Just eggs. It's called an omelette. Just toast is just toast. Number 5, cardio or weights? Cardio, particularly at the moment, it's a lot harder to do weight training when you don't have access to weights, because gyms are closed and the only person you know that has the weights is one of your friends, and you aren't able to visit them at the moment because of everything being locked down. Number 6, Facebook or Twitter? I have both. I use Facebook a lot more often. It's a very easy one. Twitter is full of twidiots. Number 7, ice cream cone or snow cone? A snow cone is literally just crushed ice and flavoured syrup. So we're going to go with an ice cream cone. Furthermore, cold rock ice creamery. Need I say more? Number 8, mobile games or console games? Look, I play both. I do thoroughly into the mobile games I play. More or less are just like daily puzzles and that sort of thing, helping to keep my my mind sharp, and to try and keep my brain moving and thinking, because that's how I personally help sort of fend off against writer's block when I'm writing a script or a story or whatever. But console games are really what I sort of look forward to at the end of the day, after I've gone and done study or work, or the day may literally just be going for a mad drive or a walk or whatever to make a video for you guys, and coming back and being able to just sit down and immerse myself into a video game on a console is, you know, more preferable, because I actually have to set time aside to do that, whereas a mobile game you can literally just, I mean, there's positives for both of them. I don't really have negatives for both of them. I do both of them, but I do prefer console games. Right, while walking, music or podcasts? Music. I think of the two, music is, they're both, you've got to work hard at both of them, okay? That, I'm not dismissing that, but music is, of the two, definitely the more artistic, and being an artistic person, consuming as much art as I can to find inspiration for my own art, my own films and stories and etc. Music definitely helps. So music, for me, this fucking, mate, can you just, like, thank you, sit where you were told to sit. Number 10, iOS or Android. This that I am filming on is an Apple product. It's an iOS. The tablet is an Android. I paid for the phone, got the tablet in the deal with my plan. My computer is an Apple product. I'm probably one of those people where it's like, oh, Apple users are X, Y, Z. I probably fit into those stereotypes. But they not only manufacture their hardware, but also the software that goes into them, whereas Android and like Microsoft products, Microsoft develops like the Windows operating system, but it does not also develop the hardware it goes into. That's like Lenovo or Asus or any of these other tech companies, which means that the software may not perfectly align with what the hardware can do, and that's where you get glitches coming up more often in those products than they do in an Apple one. And being someone who's I can't really call it my livelihood, it's not making me money, but like I'm studying online, I upload online, I am at the moment contacting all my friends online, and setting up like photo shoots and stuff with all of my friends who are models and stuff. It's just a lot easier when I'm not getting glitches. So iOS. I do have my complaints about Apple, don't worry, but of the two, I would still prefer to have an Apple product. Number 11. There is no context to this question, it just says form or function. Function. I like things to work. I don't care if it looks neat or not, because at the end of the day, if the job is done, then the job is done. It may not look the best, but things can't always look their best. If you're always going for it looking good or being aesthetically pleasing, it's not gonna, I wake up like this, okay? This is my reality, okay? I'm not going for the looks. Number 12, pop or indie? I think of the two, I would probably more likely be indie. because obviously at least I'm assuming here that they're talking about music genres. Probably more fall into like that indie category. I do like, I mean, look, if I'm a hipster, then that's just what I am. But I do like smaller bands that don't have as much of an audience, like as much of a fan base as like other bands. I will still listen to like My Chemical Romance or Panic at the Disco, and those kind of like the big names sort of thing in music. But at the same time, I do also enjoy being able to comment on an artist's profile and them being able to tell me, take the time out of their day to be able to thank, like even just as much as like thanks for sharing or liking or whatever it is, like taking the time out to actually make their fans and their audience feel appreciated, rather than just once every blue moon uploading a video to Instagram or whatever on their story, like I couldn't have done this without you guys. Like, yeah, I had an instance of this within the last week. I can make a story time about it if you want to hear the full story, but out of the two, indie. Pop music talks about butts all the time, and I don't necessarily need that. Number 13. There's a 3 in it. Close, but no CR. Number 13, cake or pie. I'm gonna go with pie. Okay. Initially, the reason I said pie was because pie can have savoury and sweet pies, and you're still choosing pie. So even if you don't agree with, like having a meat pie or a chicken pie, you can still have apple or blueberry, or custard pie, right? Like there's still options. Whereas cake is like almost exclusively a sweet thing. There's not a whole heap of savoury cakes. I mean, you could probably sort of sit on the line with things like carrot cake and banana cake, maybe. But for the most part, things like vanilla and caramel and chocolate are sweet flavours. But then, are we classifying things like muffins as cake? Because it's essentially you make a cake batter and then you just put it in a smaller thing and you cook it for less time and you get individual servings of cake. I'm gonna go with cake. Final answer, cake. 14, swimming or sunbathing. If we're talking about at the beach, which I'm hoping we are, if you are sunbathing at the pool, it's either because you don't live at the beach or because you need to reevaluate your life. Hoping it's the former. But swimming, which is not something I can do on my own anymore. Thank you so much, epilepsy. 15, high-tech or low-tech? For someone who wants to go into an industry that the entire job is dependent on the fact that you have requisite technological skills, I have surprisingly not that much technical know-how. Computing studies of any kind was not a subject I took in school. And a little bit of full transparency here. The assignment I'm up to at the moment for my photography course, wanting to go into photography, which obviously you need to know how a camera works to do that effectively, also needs me to do Photoshop, which I've never really used before because I've just always gone off sort of like a basics way of photography with like framing and how, you know, like using the rule of thirds and lighting and composition and all those other like technical things when you're actually taking the photo to get good photos, and therefore not needed editing. I also know how to work a zoom function and a focus function to have things in focus in the foreground and not in the background, or vice versa. And most of that's come from my my film course that I did. I also know how to edit and sort of very basically add soundtrack to a film. So I'm pretty well able to do most things on a small scale film set. My current assignment asking me to use Photoshop when I have absolutely zero skills in that program is a bit of a concern. And there's nothing in the course work that tells you how to do this in Photoshop. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But low tech. 16, big party or small gathering. What's it look like? Yeah, no, even when Corona isn't fucking up everyone's social life, small gathering, my social anxiety increases the more people are present, especially if there are more people present that I don't know. So if I'm just randomly walking into a situation where I know 2 people, but the room's full of 200, I'm very quickly going to become the guy that sits in the corner and watches everyone else's drinks. Until such time that they get blind fucking drunk and won't remember the night, in which case I'll be like, okay, cool, now that everyone's pretty much worn themselves out drinking excessively, now I can get up and like and dance, because in the moment they're gonna be like, whoa, you're so good, because they're drunk and the confidence boost is nice, but at the same time they're gonna wake up the next morning and not remember it happened. Win-win. Number 17, new clothes or new phone. I'm gonna bend the rules here a little bit, I think. I'm gonna get away with it, but I'm bending the rules here. I'm gonna go new clothes, and then the bend there is that those clothes would be for a cosplay. So they wouldn't be everyday clothes, but they are clothes nonetheless, because they are fabrics that I am wearing on my person. Number 18, a rich friend or a loyal friend? I mean, this one's quite obvious. You want your friends to be loyal, but is it too much to ask for your loyal friends to also have some money behind them? Particularly when you're like, hey, want to be in a film with me? I don't really have enough money to pay you. And then they could be all like, oh yeah, no, that sounds like heaps of fun. Thank you for thinking of me. Don't worry about paying me. And hey, why don't I buy lunch for the crew on one of the days? Is that really too much to ask? Like, only one day? Like, is that? Probably. But a loyal friend. Alright, number 19. Almost at the end. Football or basketball? I mean, I could go both here. Both sports have spectators. I don't have an answer for this one. I'm not going to pick one. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Having like the height restrictions and the like ridiculous rules about how many times you have to bounce the ball on the ground with basketball kind of like, if you like it, that's fine. I'm not hating on it. It just seems like a lot of hassle, and like there's people that don't quite meet those height restrictions that would really like to play the game too, and they're not able to because of how their genes worked out. Whereas football, you need to specify which particular type of football you're talking about, because European football is soccer, or we could also be talking about American football, which is its own thing, or any of the different forms of rugby, whether that's league or union, or Australian rules, which is completely different. And honestly, if we're going to go with the sport, let's go with that one, because you have to bounce the ball on the ground as well. It's basically cross-country basketball, let's be completely honest. See what I'm getting at? Like, sports just seem a little excessive, and the players always do the stupidest shit and get away with it, and it's just like, this is not the role models we needed. So I'm not a huge sports fan. Number 20, work hard or play hard. You do both. The saying is literally all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, but the opposite is also true. All play and no work makes Jack a fucking slack off, and nobody fucking wants that, right? The only reason in Pokemon you catch a slack off is so that you can evolve it into a Slack King, and even then he's fucking useless because his only fast move is Yawn, which basically does nothing. So he's just sitting there taking hits until you're able to use one of his harder hitting moves. It's ridiculous. But yeah, if there was an option of doing both, but working hard. You're not able to play hard unless you work hard. You've got to earn that right, that privilege. 21, nice car or nice home interior? I mean, nice home interior seems like the more logical choice. I'm gonna go with that, because you're not really in your car all that often. Like, sure, if you have a nice home interior, getting a nice car so that you can go from this nice surroundings inside into your garage, and there's just a continuation of nice things, would be, keyword here, nice. But neither of these things are necessary. But if I've got to choose one, it's home interior, because at the moment, like I said, I'm studying from home, I'm working from home, so I'm spending a lot of time at home, so making it nice here might make it nice here, whereas getting yourself a nice vehicle, what do you, like, home interior. Number 22 is what's worse, doing the laundry or doing the dishes? I mean, dishes, really, there are some things that no matter how much you use or don't use them, do not work if you put them through the dishwasher even one time. There are certain ways you have to care for particular dishes and utensils and cooking appliances and whatnot, and they can't go in the dishwasher because of electrical components or whatever it might be. And so with all these different ways you have to look after them, and clothes, you literally just put them in the washing machine. I mean, obviously there's different settings in case you've got things like that are wool. The same argument could technically be said, but all you're doing is flipping a switch and pressing the same buttons. Whereas doing the dishes, you actually have to run a sink of water in some cases, and if you're only using that water to wash dishes, that's actually really wasteful with your water consumption. Dishwashers and washing machines you can get to have with good water ratings, so that they're not using a whole bunch of water, or that they're like, like you can get them set up so they only come with like a rainwater tank or whatever. But yeah, what's worse? Dishes, hands down. Number 23, jogging or hiking. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody. I like doing both. What would I rather do? Hiking. jogging seems specifically with the intent to exercise, which, while that's good, making an experience while you're exercising is also really good. So that's why I like swimming in that swimming versus sunbathing one. Yes, both instances you were at the beach and having that memory and that experience, maybe with friends, maybe with family, whatever, but you're also taking that time to know they have that experience of being at that location, doing that thing with those people, but you're exercising at the same time. And the same thing can be with hiking. You can hike up a mountain, you can go for a hike through a canyon, you can, I mean, hell, tour guides through limestone caves can be considered hiking, okay, if you're doing it in a particular way, right? If you're going in there, having a look, coming out and trying to like see as many, like south of here, I think it's somewhere close to Sydney, the Jenolan Caves, and if you go there and try to see as many of them as you can in one day, I think that qualifies as hiking. You know what I mean? Like you've gone with the intent of seeing as much as you possibly can, having the experience of being in these beautiful caves, and you're also exercising at the same time. Personal opinion, whether that's controversial or not, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. 24, bath or shower? Shower. I mean, I probably speak for most adults, but most bathtubs in houses generally put in to bathe children and not for adult use. Meaning that you might come home from the gym particularly sore one day, you've still got to stand up to wash yourself. You can't put some salts and some bubble bath or whatever in the tub and just soak for an hour. With having all of your body submerged, by the way, let's make that perfectly clear. So yeah, what would I prefer? Hands down a bath. I would love to have a bath, be able to just sit there and soak, put on some music or a podcast. Hell, I know there's some people that have TVs in their bloody bathrooms. Could you imagine sitting in the bath and watching Netflix? I mean, just add into that fact that some people have wine while they're in the bath, and you've got yourself a fucking full-on pamper in an afternoon. Like, yes, I would love to have a bath. The reality is, showers are my reality. And number 25, the last one on this list, is sneakers or sandals, and I'm gonna quite easily, very, very hands down here, answer sneakers, because sandals are probably the dorkiest thing ever to wear on your foot, besides a croc. And I mean, even having said that, I would still prefer a sandal to wearing a thong or a flip-flop or whatever it is that you call it from wherever you're from, because the little rubber bit that goes in between your toes and like across the top of your foot rubs something horrible, and it is not a feeling I ever want to experience again, for fear of losing my shit and murdering whoever invented it. They are the worst. They are the worst footwear ever. Sneakers, hands down. But with that is 25 questions, so that's all we've got. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from this old mug, and the notification bell if you want to be notified when new ones go live. I do try to upload every day. I know I didn't yesterday. There was a whole thing. But yeah, until next time, guys, keep your heads screwed on.